Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the podcast, the new and experienced investor podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Barnett. I'm the new guy.
And I'm Joe Holmes. I guess that makes me the old guy.
That's
or
right.
Or the experienced guy, as we say.
The experienced one. That's right. You've been through it all and more.
Yes. And continue.
Exactly. And your wealth of knowledge. And that's why we're here to give two different perspectives. Really excited. We got another in-studio guest today. We're going to bring him on in just a second. But first, we want to tell you guys about our event that we have coming up on November 20th. So if you're in the Orange County area, come to Hangar 24, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we're doing something really cool this time. Do you want to break it down for him?
I don't know. What are we doing? I forgot.
Yeah, we're talking about our
wholesaling.
The wholesaling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wholesaling.
The hot
That's exciting.
buzzword.
We get lots of questions on wholesaling and how to get started and what to do. So we're going to break it down for you. We're going to tell you exactly what to do. We're going to connect you with our team. And Alex and I will be there to hold your hand the entire way.
Yep. And we're starting a new course, Wholesaling Startup Club, for anybody new, or if you've been doing it for a while and you just want to join a team. It's going to be completely free. We want to get as many people involved as possible. So come out on November 20th, and it's just an all-around great networking event as well. I have a blast every time.
Back up. You said free?
It's free.
No 10% for the big guy?
That'll come later on.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, but the course is completely free.
Okay.
You know, so.
And then you're also having an event on Saturday as well, right?
I'm going to one, yes.
Oh, no. Are you? I'm talking about your
the
call.
Power Hour. Yeah,
Power
no, I
Hour.
won't be here for that, but that is still going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jen Shelton, Queen Closer from Sub 2, she and I have a calling club, I guess, if you want to call it that, where we meet up every second and fourth Saturday and we just do straight calls. We just hit the phones, we pull a list, and no excuses, just complete action taking. So it's a great place to learn if you're brand new.
It is. Absolutely. Don't order the coffee there.
It takes 45 minutes.
It takes 45 minutes, yeah. Go to McDonald's, which is across the way, and grab some
2
coffee
minutes.
there. Because if you order the coffee from the coffee shop, it literally takes 45 minutes. But anyway, that's a good way to like actually see people on phone calls.
Yeah.
Calling people.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is. I went once to check it out, and it was very interesting.
Yeah, because, a lot of people will talk about wanting to get into this stuff, but it's like really taking the action that gets you far. And that leads me into one of my favorite action takers who's here in studio. We're talking to a guy. He's flipping land. He's working with his family. He's building a legacy and an empire. And his name is Dan Romer. Dan, welcome.
Wow. Man, I'm so cool. That's amazing. Yeah. Yes, I'm doing that. So happy to be with you guys. This is super fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll
nice
jump on into it. Who are you and how'd you get into real estate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm from London, England, moved out to the States in 2000. And my wife and I were there in St. Louis, Missouri. And in the early years, just wanted a bigger adventure than England could offer us. And did some post-grad study. And I was over at a friend's house, saw a TV commercial by Carlton Sheets.
Ooh.
Now, Joe knows who that is.
I know who it is.
Because we're both old.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're not the same age.
Yeah.
You're a bit younger.
Yeah,
Are you
probably.
younger?
Yeah.
He's
42.
a lot
You saying I look
younger.
older?
No,
Okay,
you're
no.
good. No, you're good. I just don't know.
checking.
I'm newer to real estate, so I don't know. It sounds
no.
familiar, but
So Carlton Sheets comes on, does a terrific TV commercial, and says, "Buy my course." So I bought the course, went on eBay, bought it cheap, and then that summer I just went through every chapter. Am I doing how I got into real estate? Is that what I'm doing?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, it's good.
So that's the beginnings. I got into it. I read the chapter, did what he said, and it was super practical. And I just got super excited about it. And I wanted to make some money. And the market was climbing. It was going good. And I bought one house and then another house, and then did a light rehab. And in St. Louis, you can do basements. And so I just fix up the basement, some light drywall and carpet, and got a friend to help me, and just value add. And then I got really excited when it got to the chapter on doing a double close.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, juicy. He said, I can find a property and put a contract on it, the A-B transaction, if you will, and then do any improvements or not, and find my buyer, the BC contract, and then make it all buy and sell it same day. And I thought, this is amazing. So I went out and found a 3-bed house. It didn't need any work done on it. And I put a contract on it, and I thought I was being really creative by extending the 30 days to 40. I thought,
genius.
This lady really, hey,
Groundbreaking.
So they agreed to it. I thought that was amazing because you assume stuff, and I assumed it was only 30. And so I had a little extra time. I was looking around in the house, sniffing around, thinking, what do I do? Do I just put up some bunch of furniture in here? Do I just put the coffee on, make it smell nice? And it was just ready to go. There's just nothing else you could really do to improve this house. But I'd been talking with enough people locally. This family wanted a house, and they needed the $5,000. I think it was about $5,000 down payment to get the deal done. So I said, I'll help you with that. We'll do it all at closing. Went back to my Carlton Sheets manual, read that through, and it worked. So I left that table with cash. They were crying happy.
Wow.
Because the only thing in their way was a little bit of money, and that they just did not have. They just didn't have. So they got into this house, sold it to them, the appraisal. So I bought it a little squeak under, sold it right there at a value that fit the appraisal. And I think appraisal rules were a little easier back then. But, it was within the value. They were super happy. They were winning, and I was winning. It was just absolutely amazing.
And
so
what year?
So that would have been around 2004, 2003, 2004.
Okay.
Yeah, those were the early days. Great times.
Yeah, they were. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. So to kind of like paint a picture of like, how are you finding leads back then? Like, how are you, I guess getting the lead generation? Like, what was the way to do it?
I was finding the houses by driving around.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that was early enough to not really, I don't think I was aware of any kind of tech at all.
Right.
And I was even putting ads in the paper to find my buyers.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was driving around. I was just driving around the neighborhoods and getting used to the area and kind of what looked a bit run down, and knocking on the door. And then I was also looking at properties on market as well. So I found a couple of realtors. I was actually renting a house from a realtor. And so that turned into a relationship of trust, and I told him exactly what I need, and he fed me some really good leads, and we picked up some houses, rehabbed some, kept some for rentals.
And why the double closing?
I just read it in Carlton Sheets chapter, and it worked.
Okay.
And that was amazing.
Usually the people, the real estate companies that we have now, they do a double closing because they have a big fee up front. And they want to hide that from the end user. So that's why they do a double closing. Was that not your case?
I made around 20, maybe a little under, with title fees. And at the time, as a newbie, I just thought, this is incredible.
Yeah. And then your end user ended up getting a loan?
They did.
Okay. Which is another reason you do double closing.
Yeah.
Because the bank doesn't like it when you're going to make $20,000 on a deal. So they have to see that close. And then they say, okay, well, this property closed at this amount. So now we're buying it from him. Yeah. Basically.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And we do most of our land deals today double close, about 80-90% of them. So we have that challenge of using the right title companies and setting it up right to do that. But
again, do you do that because you're not trying to hide, but you're trying to hide the profit that you're making?
I don't want to disclose how much money I'm making.
Okay.
Because people, 1 minute a parcel of land can fit their criteria perfectly well, and they would pay that money for it. The next minute, they realize how much I'm profiting, and the emotions get involved. That's human nature. They need to win, so they're buying it at the right price that fits their budget, and typically it's a builder building a house. But I'm also double closing because I want to save on capital costs on funding the deal. So if I can double close with a reputable title company in a good state, and it's a win-win all around, win-win-win, 3 ways. People I'm buying from, because we're solving their problems, and often they have some problems we've got to solve. We're making a profit, and then we're selling it to C,
the end user,
at 80-90% of market value. We're selling them really quick. So, because I want them gone in 60 to 90 days. I don't want them on the market, and land can sit on the market for a year. It's very typical. But I want it. I want people knocking the door down and buying it and move it on, generate the cash, keep going.
When you list the properties on the MLS, because I'm assuming you do, because as you just said, what commission do you offer for like the buyer's agent coming in?
We try and do around 6%, which is a 3 and 3 split. But with land, a lot of brokers will be asking for 8, and I've even had them at 9, and I think maybe even 10%.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at is what is it that you're paying with per land? Because I mean, what's the average price that you're selling these properties for?
I don't have the exact number for what the average is. We just did one last week for 268, I think 269,000. We don't do any below 20,000. The numbers don't really work, but we have done them around 20 to 30,000. So, and everything in between. If I had to guess what the average purchase, what is it? It's right across the board. It's all the way between 20,000 and 260,000. But if I had to guess, then most of them we're probably buying for around 75,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're at 20,000, 6% for commission, we're not talking a lot of money here. It's like I don't know if I'd wake up in the morning to list a property at that price. It just doesn't make sense, and that's why agents want 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Plus they're greedy.
Not the good ones. No, I'm just kidding. They're there for a service.
They want to get paid.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
They're all greedy.
Are those you're working nationwide now at this point, or kind of what's your
in about a dozen different states? Yeah,
Okay.
We've got our favorites and
Gotcha.
all the favorite states, favorite realtors, favorite title companies, and it just makes it all work much more smoothly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So kind of fill in the gap, I guess, from when you're doing single family homes in St. Louis, and then now you're out in California flipping land. So what's that transition look like?
Yeah, 2008 happened. That was painful. So Joe and I were talking about that a little bit earlier. I was in my 20s, and I didn't know that. Nobody told me you have an economic downturn every however many years. What is it, 12, 10? Nobody said that. And if they were telling me I was not paying attention, there's a lot of things, when you're in your 20s, you feel like somebody should have told you. So if they told me, I wasn't listening. So this thing happened, felt like overnight. And you just sniffed it in the air in the newspapers. And I figured things were just going so great, they'll just go like that forever. And it was just all the properties were climbing. I just practically had to wait a year or two to know that I'd be whatever messy rehab I did, I'd be fine, and it'd just come out in the wash, and I'd just sell and be fine. But that's not reality. So 2008 hit, and I started to get just a couple, maybe 2 or 3 renters were late on their payments, and I figured, what is happening? You live in my house and you pay on time. Don't you understand the rules?
That's the rules. That's the rules.
And I'm like, at the time especially, I was super gracious, and people have situations they go through, and I think sometimes you can have a conversation and help them, and I think I was too much on the side of just kind of being patient and being gracious and not having enough boundaries, and so I let them stay there, and I was paying the mortgages, and it was bad, and I felt bad for them, and I don't think that's healthy. I think there's a balance, between being gracious and forgiving and helping people, and then you've got to run a business, and you have a contract, so. I tried to figure it out, and by that time we were behind on some mortgages, and we had one short sale that was the painful one that hit my credit, and then and so my plan was panic and sell, and so I panicked first and then sold, and so I just got rid of these as quickly as I could, and it's pretty amazing how quickly we actually could sell. But I think the emotion and the stress felt like it was a terribly dark hour. It was hard on me and my wife. Just the strain, trying to figure out what was happening. We had just moved in ourselves to a bigger house, pool, really nice neighborhood in Chesterfield, Missouri, kind of right next to St. Louis. And I turned to my wife. I said, "We got to sell this one too. This is too much." And thankfully, we did. We sold that amazingly in a few weeks with a little bit of profit. So it's pretty. In hindsight, it wasn't that much of a big deal. But when you're under pressure, everyone has those stories. It just felt terrible. That made me take this dream, and just to tell you the brutal facts and the honest, I kind of shoved this real estate dream down, and I kind of got into marketing and sales, and I did that for a few years. And it's only just recently that through some friends, I've had this pretty amazing, somewhat emotional re-emerging of this real estate dream, and it's a longer story, but the bottom line is, there's these friends of the family, this young couple doing land, and I was curious, and I asked them, what are you doing? And they said, we don't normally get into all the details. People don't even understand what we're doing, but we're flipping land. And I was like, I think I understand. How are you flipping land? What are you doing? Who's funding? Who's your capital partner with? And they're like, oh, okay, you know a little bit about real estate. And they said, we're double closing. And I said to them, you can't do that. And they said, yes, we can. And I said, no, my mortgage brokers, my realtors, the title they all said that you can't do that anymore. And it's like, they're wrong. I said, no, you can't do. And I had this limiting belief sit on me for years. And they said, shut up. Yes, we do it every day. And so, and I realized, simple things can really change, like simple negative belief systems can really hold you back.
Do you do real estate 9 to 5 now, or do you have another job?
Yeah, 9 to 5. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. With the family.
Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Welcome back.
Back with the dangerous ones.
Yeah. And you still have real estate agents out there, mortgage brokers. Yeah. They're the same. Yeah. They're still the same. Yeah. You can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah. Subject to is, big and getting bigger right now. And you hear the same thing. You can't do this. You can't do this. Yeah. You can get the loan called by the bank, which is not true, right. Just whatever. So you kind of have to steer around these people and move in the right direction. So I'm glad you met the family members that, set you straight. Yeah. And me too. And you're back in, and it sounds like you're being very successful, and it looks like you're real happy.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm back in my adventure.
Okay. So how do you source deals today? I mean, back then you were doing door knocking and driving and all that stuff, which people still do. Well, how do you source your deals today? Yeah.
We do text messaging. We do a bunch. So we're sending between 5,000 and 7,000 text messages a day. We're doing cold calling. We've only got 2 cold callers on the team, but they're doing well. It's been a little bit up and down to put it together how we want, but it's working good now. And the new regulations with cold calling means we're shifting a little, with texting means we're shifting a little more to cold calling. But that's been how we're doing it. And we're just about to start up some ringless voicemail as well. But texting has been the biggest one for me. So I pull the list on PropStream, put my filters in. I want off-market land. I love it when we can get a list with filters with people that have owned it 10 to 20 years and they're out of state and they're very happy to get a cash offer.
Yeah. That's, I don't use PropStream as much as Alex does, but does it tell you the age of the owner as well?
I don't think so. That's more Property Radar.
Okay.
Where it'll show you like, oh, this person's like 70 years old or something like that.
Yeah, because
you can.
One of my questions was, are you targeting older people that own that land that's just been sitting there forever?
Not necessarily. I don't use it as my filters, but we've noticed most people are middle years, 50s.
Yeah.
We're really careful when they are elderly because you've got to, there's laws and you've got to be careful and get an attorney involved or other family members.
Yeah.
Just to be sure that there's somebody, isn't confused or.
Well, I didn't look at it as taking advantage of them. I looked at it as I'm getting older. I mean, how much longer am I going to be around? Why do I need this, piece of land here that's not doing anything for me?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want my kids to handle it because they don't know anything about real estate. So thank God for you. You called and I said, I think it's time for me to sell. So is that the type of conversation you're having?
It is people in that second half of life anywhere. Yeah. From kind of 50s onwards. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And often they say things like you just said, the kids don't want it. They're doing something else out of state, somewhere else. Often we're solving problems. They've got tax liens on there. They're behind on taxes. There's some measure of embarrassment. They don't want to contact a realtor anyway to, even begin to talk about it. They have access issues. There's title issues. There's a railway company that owns a slither of land right across the front, and it's, on paper it's useless, but so we've got a great team, and we solve a bunch of those problems that just require a little bit of patience and phoning around and normal conversations. And it's good.
I like the way he said the second half of life. Instead of calling people old, I like that. That's good. Second half of life.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's true.
I like that.
Yeah. So I know more of like direct to seller with houses and all that stuff. That's more of my realm. But like, I guess with like a land buyer, did they buy this piece of land back in the day thinking that it was going to be built up around them and someone was going to offer them a cash price because like a developer was going to come in? Is that like their thinking, you think, for most of these people, or what's the reasoning to buy just a vacant plot of land if you're not a developer?
Yeah, that's a common one. Probably the top three. That's probably in the top three. They're prospecting. They're thinking it's going to grow in value. They're thinking things are going to build up. And for a lot of people, that just didn't happen. And it's in a reasonable area. It's not too far from the city. It's not too far from hospitals, schools. People are working remotely much more, so they want land at an hour outside of town. Another one is they inherited the land. They have no vision for it, no use for it, don't know what to do with it. Maybe a couple of siblings. Another one is their plans changed. They had some kind of plan. They're getting engaged, and then they just figured, no, we're going to live somewhere else. Or they had some, wanted to live near family there, or family moved, or just whatever reasons. Those are the top three kind of stories we hear. Yeah, but there's a whole variety. People want to sell land. People want to buy land.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar because I inherited, not me, but, me and my wife inherited a property from my mother-in-law that she bought back in the 30s, 40s in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Right.
10 acres. Real estate agent, sold it to her for, I think it was like $1,000, which was a lot of money back then. Sold it to her for $1,000, and his idea was, well, when we have that big earthquake down San Andreas Fault and everything falls into the ocean, you're going to have oceanfront property here.
That'll work.
And it's like, okay.
That checks out.
So she passed away. We inherited.
Right.
And I was paying the property taxes. Not that they're a lot. They were like, $100 a year or something,
Right.
because it was worth nothing. But it was just the matter of, I'm paying these stupid property taxes. I'm not using this at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I did put it on the market. We sold it real quick because I put it on there real cheap. For 10 acres, I sold it for $10,000.
Oh.
I could probably sell it for more now, but, let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's not do that.
That's
one of
every,
those.
every real estate story.
Yeah, let's not go.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. So I fell into your category. I mean, I could have been
Sure.
a person that you were reaching out to at the time, because I did get a lot of postcards. You send postcards out?
I don't know.
Okay.
A lot of my peers do.
I was getting postcards, once a month. Hey, you want to sell your land?
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay you cash, and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. And okay, so finally I said, you know what? Do we want to do anything with this? Well, we can, leave it for our kids. I go, leave it for our kids? What the hell are they going to do with it? So we ended up selling it.
Yeah.
There you go. Textbook case.
Yeah,
There you
textbook
go.
case. Yeah.
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 Happens all the time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
land is sort of like, even for me, it's like an enigma when I come across, I'm doing texting and stuff, I'll come across like a land and I have no idea how to value it, and I don't even know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So that's great. I'm glad we met, so I can just send you leads.
For sure. Send leads. Yeah. Send them now.
I mean, I know a lot of other wholesalers are like, it's friggin' land. I got no idea. Like, what is this worth? Maybe it's a deal. I have no idea. And they just end up passing on it. So
if it's land, someone somewhere will buy it for the right price.
yeah,
It will sell. You have some really junky pieces that are hard.
right.
And they're way off in the desert, don't have accessibility. So all else being equal, you got a parcel and you can travel to a city within one to 3 hours. If it's got and stuff that's unbuildable, people buy it because it's interesting for recreation.
Right.
And they just go, put a little cabin on it.
When I
Shooting
sold the 10 acres in the middle of the desert, the guy that bought it said he just wanted to take his motorhome out there
There you
and
go.
his motor toys and have a place that he knew was his own and putt around.
There you go.
That's why he bought it.
Yeah.
I said, good for you.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that
All right.
stuff, and I don't have any interest in doing any of that
Yeah.
stuff. So
There you go.
That's a great illustration of just positioning. Some people look at that and think, why do I want dirt? But you position it, it's a getaway.
yeah,
It's a retreat.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Wow.
Ride
You
your
could
four-wheeler.
do Airbnb on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of sleeping bags.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
What do they call
Right.
those things? Utes?
Yurts. Yeah.
Yurts.
Yep.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
or like you said, put a bunch of motorhomes on there and Airbnb them. I don't know if the county or the city would like that, but
Yeah, you don't gotta tell them. Just kidding. Now they're all over
until you
for all that
become
stuff.
successful, profitable, and then they go, "Hey,
Yeah,
what the heck's
exactly.
Alex
Hold
doing
on.
over there?"
Yeah.
You know?
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, he had a great question. How
Yeah.
do you value land?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, that's really important. So we, our manager that manages our overseas VAs, they do all the comping on it. So they'll do a 5-step, very, very practical and very, very quick kind of review of the land.
Time out. You have somebody overseas that's
We do.
doing a comping of something here
We
that
do, yeah.
they've never been here.
It's really common. Yeah, really popular.
See, you learn something new every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, keep going. Sorry to
Yeah.
time you out there, but
No, not at all. We've had Egyptian VAs in Egypt, really sharp, pretty decent American accent as well for cold calling. We've got several Filipino VAs, super sharp, and a dollar buys your food for a day, and so you have some sharp, reasonably experienced people on $5 a day making a boat relative to their culture, a boatload of money. You give a $50 bonus, $100 bonus, it's really, really generous for
So what tools are they using to evaluate how much this piece of property is worth?
Yeah, they're using. I mean, we jump on Zillow like you do with residential, and instead of clicking houses, we click land, so it just filters it for us. So we can do comps that way. The 5 steps they take is we give them an acronym, so it's really easy to remember. FACTS, FACTS. So just want to check flood zone. So our CRMs just link to MapRight or Land ID, it's called now, whatever it is. It gives you a really nice view of the parcel of land in color, and then you just kind of make a couple of selections, and you can see if there's any crazy stuff like power lines overhead or flood issues. So they'll click the flood zone selection and just see is there a river, because obviously you can't build within a certain buffer depending on the county and the state, 75 feet or 100 feet of a river. Even if it's dry, the county may have an issue with that, so then that affects the value. So they just pay attention to that. 9 times out of 10, no flood zone issues anyway, because we've already selected the geographical region, the county that doesn't have a lot of those issues to make it easy. But we need to know. It's real quick, seconds, a minute. F, so A, accessibility. So we just need to know briefly a couple of things: legal accessibility and physical accessibility, because as you know, they can be a little different. So just because you've got physical access and people are driving on a dirt track might not necessarily mean that's a true easement, or maybe it's an easement by virtue of them having driven on there for 5 years or more, or whatever the local laws are, or whatever. But most of all, we just want to know, can someone even view the property? Can they just drive their vehicle on there? And is there a clearing, or can we make a clearing, get like a brush hog or whatever, just, mow the grass, but make it look nice in the photograph so that you can get on there. So that's A, accessibility. C, they'll check the comps. So they jump on Zillow, check the comps. Comps can be a little bit fishy, but we teach them, like, if it's practical and you've got 3 parcels of land, they're also 5 acres, they're similar to that, they're
nice,
it is what write it down.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything that close, find one point of reference within whatever go a little further out than a mile radius, find something, put it in the notes, and it's a little bit of guesstimation, guesstimate work, and we can ask a realtor later on. FAC comps. T, taxes. We've actually relaxed this one. We don't actually need to dig into this early on, but it's helpful at some point to figure that out, and that we can do it during title search. So we actually don't do that anymore. And then S is for slope. So does it have a slope? So 30% or more can be problematic, but just put it in the notes. And it could be a recreational parcel of land that nobody builds on anyway. We did one like that in Nevada. It was awesome. It's 144 acres.
Wow.
Reno, Nevada. Guy snapped it up. It was a great deal. We bought that for $30,000 and sold for 100 and good money thousand.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. No plans to build. No due diligence. I think he had a short due diligence when he just wanted to look around. He just wanted to shoot his guns, and so yeah. Is there a slope? So the that can. I'm typically looking for something that just doesn't have much of a slope. So that's real quick. They can do that in 10 minutes. So they'll do kind of like 5 or more per hour comped. So we'll end up with something like between 250 and 350 leads in a week. And then we'll go through those to get about 40 hot leads, the ones we're excited about, they seem more motivated to sell, and we'll get our closer on the phone with them. But that's prospecting, to answer that question.
Nice.
That's a good system.
Due diligence was the question.
It's similar to what we do, and
yeah, I'm doing all the comping and the closing.
Yeah,
I need to hire some people.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
Time.
I don't know if you would be happy. I think you're the happiest when you're talking to somebody.
No, I don't mind the closing.
You walked in today talking on your phone, and then you literally walk back out, and then you're walking the parking lot
in the zone.
Yeah,
in the zone, and then it's time for lunch. This is an hour later, and he's still out there, and I'm kind of doing this, and he says, "Oh, I'm ready. I've been waiting for you guys."
Yeah,
for an hour out there,
waiting
talking.
on you.
I know.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No, I enjoy the closing and talking to people, but it's like it can get bottlenecked when it's like the comping and the closing and the underwriting for creative deals and all that kind of stuff. That's when it gets a little.
Comping is systematic. You can have we have some VAs at $3 an hour in the Philippines with an agency, and we trained them to comp.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you mind passing along a couple names, or
since it's you?
Okay,
yeah,
nice. So, are you doing so? What's your role within the business? Seems like you're up here and kind of just managing everything. Or are you still getting on the phones and help closing? Or
I'm on the phones just rarely.
Okay,
rarely now. Yeah, I'm a starter. I'm a sort of build the teams. I like to think 5 steps ahead, solve problems, and I don't want to maintain and manage things. And I think that's been a helpful self-discovery. You kind of think about your personality, you think about where you're happiest and most productive, and so I want to start stuff. I don't want to manage stuff.
Right.
So I have an incredible operations manager, Rachel. She's amazing, and she's just ninja. Faster than a speeding bullet.
Wow.
Yeah, there's me overthinking something. So that's a blessing. That's great. 3 of my older kids are in the business, which I love. So my daughter manages the VAs and the comping team. So she handles all the leads. My other son does the marketing and the data. So he buys our data, scrubs it, gets rid of any nasty litigators, or the best he can, because they're out there. In it's a marketing business. It's how I view it. And then my other son, I trained him to do all the sales calls. So he's on Follow-Up Boss. So he knows exactly who he's calling. Triple dial morning, triple dial evening. He's going to chase that lead for about 15 to 20 times.
Nice.
And make them say yes or no, but not be quiet. So he's a hunter. So in getting those contracts signed, that's that what's that book called? It the Queen Bee role or something. It's like the indispensable key metric of the business. Right. Contracts signed. So that's the kind of resource we've got. We've got two ladies in the UK, and then we've got the team. My kids in the US, and then we have some the overseas virtual assistants, maybe about something like 15 or 16 if I include all of them.
Nice. Okay, so it's a lot of time zones working together. How you
the Filipinos work in the night.
Right.
They work on US hours, and the Brits they travel between the US and the UK, but they're mostly on American hours when they work in the UK. It's like a 8-hour difference to here, so they can work from like noon or 2 o'clock into about 10 p.m. and they like that schedule.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm I kind of bought into the EOS philosophy, the entrepreneurial operating system, and being like a thinker, a dreamer, a people person. I need those systems in a business to keep a scorecard, keep us quantifiable, so we're not just drifting here and there. And it forces me to create what EOS calls a VTO, like vision, but with traction, so vision, traction, organizer. So I'm responsible for that. Do some hiring, a little bit of phoning, like I said, and we're new, so we've been growing and learning what it means to grow and scale. Learning like cash flow and profit first stuff. That's just nearly killed me over the years. But trying to be a big boy with managing money, just a big part of business. Just managing. So that's kind of what I do.
The relatives that got you back in, are they with you, or they're doing their own thing?
They're friends of the family. They're doing their own thing, and their mom, she was very much a coach to me. Just absolute super sharp woman, Angie McDonald. Wherever you are amazing. Super generous, an amazing woman. Really helped me, and I asked her so many questions, changed my life. She really did, and became a capital funding partner. She's amazing. Surprises me how amazing she is. One text, and she's sending $260,000 to what was it, Nevada Title or something, and super relationships. Awesome.
Nice.
Are you using her as a transactional funding? Because you're mostly just it's like wholesaling it. Well, I guess you're double closing a lot of them, so you need that to close.
Nevada. Was it Nevada? Yes, I think that deal was Nevada. And then there was a title company. Man, what state are we in now, oh boy, or is that North Carolina? The title company we really like working with in North Carolina, they just said they don't want to do double closes anymore, and they said that days before a deal. So I'm like, Angie, help!
Who you got?
I need a big bunch of your money for about 4 days. So we buy it and then sell it a couple of days later.
You already have the B2C already lined up. It's just a matter of logistics at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, are there any places doing pass through to where you can? I mean, it's not really double close if you use B2C to fund.
That's the double close.
Yeah. It sounds like that's what he's describing as double close, but it's more of a pass through that you were talking about.
Yeah.
The double closing was actually closing with your funds, and then 3 or 4 days later.
Is that right?
I've done it to where I've used transactional funding.
Yeah, but you're using somebody else's money to close first.
Yeah, but it'll be same day. It'll fund.
My description of double closing is that, not a pass through.
Oh, that's interesting. I never. Yeah.
I don't know many title companies or around here or escrow companies that'll do pass throughs. They just won't do them.
We have a few. So when you say pass through, you mean
the B2C.
The BC will fund the AB.
Yes.
Yes. There's a few.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in. I haven't found any in California.
Yeah, you won't find any around here.
No, very fussy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. It's just like
Tennessee, Georgia.
Okay.
Nice.
North Carolina did until they called us and said they didn't want to. Tennessee will, Georgia will, North. I think South Carolina. We've done deals. I'd have to ask if. Pretty sure we double closed there. Colorado we have. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's nice.
It seems it's just like so much cleaner that way. You know what I mean?
Well, for you.
Yeah. You got to come up with anything.
But what happens, and if you ever had this happen, you close and then C says, I changed my mind.
I have not. Angie has.
Okay.
Yeah. I have not. I think we're readying ourselves for that eventuality where when I've used Angie as a capital partner, I've walked myself through that scenario. If they back out, I owe Angie this money. Can I sell this parcel of land? And so the idea is buy it right. So you've got plenty of margin. So I could say to her, I'm going to need your money for another 30 days. She knows that. She's aware this is a potential.
And in your contracts with C, do you put down, a large deposit and non-refundable?
No, I avoid that as much as I possibly can.
Why?
I don't want to have money tied up everywhere. We've got a bunch on the MLS, so I don't want all my money just sat.
No, I'm talking about once you find C, the buyer of your property, you require them to put...
Oh, them to pay, yes. Sorry, the other way, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And it's non-refundable.
We've left it to the realtor. In all of our deals, the realtor has left it to them to put down sometimes $500, sometimes $1,000, sometimes it's a refundable earnest EMD and plus a non-refundable due diligence fee. And so I know another guy that's doing what we're doing, and he's much stronger on get a solid deposit, and I think he. Man, it was a big percentage. I can't remember what it is, but it surprised me. I heard this just the other day.
Yeah.
But for us, no, we have never asked anything specific. And I'm often surprised when I literally get a check. It's like, here's $1,000 due diligence fee, non-refundable if the deal doesn't go through. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we do around here.
Really?
Is if it goes under the contract and the buyer's there, he's putting $20,000 to $30,000 down on a deal,
Yeah.
and it's non-refundable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because if you don't do it that way, you're going to have a lot of tire kickers. They're going to say, hey, we'll buy it and we'll put down 20,000, but we want it back if we change our mind.
Yeah. That's
and they
good.
do, or they renegotiate with you.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, there's plenty of things like that we need to give a lot of attention to. So that's a good one. Yeah.
You mentioned you're working with your family at this point.
Yeah.
Can you shed a little light on how that works and how you can, take dad hat off and, put the boss hat on, or how does that play out?
Yeah, that's good. I've given that a lot of thinking. We're an entrepreneurial family. Everyone's fiery and outspoken and headstrong, and I don't know where they get that from. But, so one thing was a big breath of fresh air was having an operations manager, so I can be good cop. And I told
nice.
I told Rach, hey, I need help in this area. I do not want to be cracking the whip with my kids, but I want you to. And so they have a scorecard. They show up at the Monday level 10 meeting, and they need to deliver their number. And they know if it's, under, they know we're going to have a meeting and we're going to start talking about it. And so they know what their number is. But she's really great with them, and she's obviously a friend of the family and knows, loves my kids. So my wife grew up with her.
Okay.
And she owns real estate.
Oh,
and
awesome.
So it's very unique, and it's a gift. So that's very helpful. Then in addition to that, I've got to lead with vision. So I think when it doesn't go good and the kids are frustrated with me, or dad's unclear or whatever, it's because I've neglected that proximity and the time to just sit down over a lunch and talk it all through. I just met with
lunch.
It's very powerful.
Lunch.
I love lunch. That's my whole thing.
Solves problems, right?
It does. I get so much work done at lunch.
Yes.
Thank
you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We think alike.
I like that, Joe. Yeah.
I like that.
I just had lunch with Lily, my daughter, she lives in Costa Mesa. We just talked about everything, and we eventually got around to work, and she's talking about 2024. We're talking about goals, talking about salary, she's getting her realtor license. She'll head up. We're learning to subdivide land. We haven't done any yet, but it just makes sense. It's just so close to what we do. So so that proximity. There's just it's even you don't even have to figure out everything. It's just, I don't know, if like osmosis is just. So I think that's big, for the kids. So we have a lot of fun. We ski season. We're skiing once a week together, and we're trying to do work. It's like everyone stops for an hour and has lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch.
So let me ask you this. So you've got family lunch, and then you have investor lunch. Family lunch, who pays?
Oh, I pay.
Dad
I'm
pays.
always
thank
paying.
you. Thank you. And investor lunch, you have investor lunches?
No, should I? What is investor lunch?
Like
Am I missing
newbie
lunch?
land flippers that
Oh,
want to learn.
absolutely. You should be
Taken
on the
out to
road, just saying, hey, I can teach you how to do all this stuff, but you need to pay for lunch.
For lunch,
You've got an
at
hour
least.
of my time.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I do. I take calls from guys, but they're in other states. I don't.
Okay.
But
Just
I
have
need
them
to do
Venmo
that.
you lunch.
Yeah, lunch. Like a good one.
Right. Exactly. Nobu like sushi lunch.
Lunch,
Yeah.
Starbucks,
Come on.
whatever.
This is good.
Yeah, if you're special, if you're willing to sit down with somebody like you are with us today, and we've been highly paying you for this interview, but anyways, you deserve something. You have something of value
sure,
there.
yeah. I love to share.
You don't have to be a guru and charge them, 10, 20 grand for it. But
does that work? No.
It's like, I can do that.
Yeah. I agree,
Yeah,
Joe.
there's some people.
No,
out there
I
that do
agree.
that, but,
I think it's a great thing to share.
Yeah.
The world is big enough for everyone to do well. So I love to share. People have been so generous with me. Yeah, I just need to let them know they're buying me lunch.
Yes, it's easy to do.
Yeah, you got to eat.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a Calendly account. You should check into it.
Yeah.
Calendly.com.
Yeah.
And I've got all my favorite restaurants on there.
Okay.
And, you can meet anywhere here. You can meet at Starbucks. I've even got the option you can come to the office for free, but it's like, hello. Like
Yeah.
if you want an hour of my time,
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But I'll give them the option, But it's like,
He'll be mad when you
geez,
show
the
up.
least you can do is Starbucks,
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
So can I book on your Calendly? Book you?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
take you for coffee?
Oh,
Coffee.
Yeah. Oh, he loves
Oh,
this. See, this is where it's going.
Lunch
Yeah.
is better.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Lunch is better. And I hear
It's
you.
like lunch.
I hear you when it comes to family. Yeah, the big guy pays
Big man
all the
pays.
time.
Yeah.
You
The big guy wants to pay.
he does.
Yeah.
He does because that's the big guy's
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I pay. So I man, we are just like getting along here, aren't
That's
we?
right. Yeah.
Wow.
2 peas in
Yeah,
a
but you
pod.
ought to think about, hey, if you're interested in doing, what I'm doing, I'm happy to sit down with you for an hour. Here's my favorite restaurants.
Lunch.
Pick one, and I'll meet you for lunch and
Love
tell you
that.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just like you're doing here today. You know,
Yeah.
you're telling
Yeah.
our audience
Love
what it
that.
is that you're doing and how you're
love
doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want the competition, because
I don't care.
one
I
of the
don't
first flips that we did together was a mobile home in Hemet. And he comes to me with it and he says, hey, let's do this mobile home in Hemet. I go, mobile home? I go, I don't flip mobile homes. I've never flipped mobile homes. He goes, oh, no, wait, time out. It's a mobile home in a senior community and you own the land underneath it. It's not in a park.
Yeah.
I go, whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So he got under contract for 60. We went out there. I acted like his contractor, and I'm walking around going, hey, Alex, it's going to cost you 10 grand to do this. It's way more than you had told me. It's like really bad. So we get done, and I tell him, I go, you need to renegotiate this. He renegotiated the contract down to 40,000.
Oh.
We went in and spent 60,000, so we're at 100, and we sold it for 215.
That works. Those numbers work.
Yes, that's what I said.
I can bring
The problem that we had was me being so nice and a big mouth is I told a bunch of my agents, and so now they're doing it in the same place we were doing it.
Oh.
And so there goes all our deals. Yeah.
There's plenty.
From where I'm seated, you're doing well.
Yeah. sounds like one of my agents was talking to him the other day. Said, yeah, Joe told me just to sell this. I'm probably going to lose like 25,000. I'm sure he can afford losing 25,000, but I can't.
He's like, Joe's a very
That
rich man.
one.
He
Okay.
wouldn't care about 25.
That's that one.
I was like, I'm sure you would care about losing 20.
Anybody cares,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody
great.
likes that. Yeah.
So I think you ought to put a program together and
whole lunch mentorship.
exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
Become the land guru.
Yeah.
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 I mean, people are starving. Honestly, you come to our meetup, and there's 75 to 100 people that are coming there to find out what it is that we're doing or our guest speakers doing.
That's
Okay.
awesome. Wow.
And they're starving for attention.
Yep.
They're starving for somebody to sit down with them and say, "Here, son, I need to hold your hand, but let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go do
mentorship.
this." Mentorship.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that.
think about it.
Thank
It's
you.
Free lunches,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. And maybe 10K.
I go
Don't you
anywhere for free lunches. Anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited I could
Yeah,
spend
you
more
can.
time with
That's
Joe.
right,
Because
yeah.
I only had a few minutes.
Absolutely.
I
And
know.
I did not get enough time to
All right.
extract some really
Oh,
juicy
yeah.
real estate knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There is a lot.
I know.
There's a lot. And you've been through the 2008 thing, so I can talk to you from the other end because it was very profitable for me. Okay? Warren Buffett, who Warren Buffett
Oh,
is,
yeah.
everybody does,
Oh, yeah.
says when people are running away from investment, you should be running in.
Yeah.
that was me. I'm running in.
Yeah.
But again, by that point in time, I had probably 25 years of experience and had been, this is opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, this is opportunity. So
do you think there'll be a down?
gosh, we're there.
Got that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inflation's a good one too. Oh my God, we're there. It's like I'm back in 1980, right when Jimmy Carter was in office, right before Reagan came into office.
Yep.
Same thing's happening right now.
Yep.
The only difference is that the big thing is unemployment, and we're not facing a big unemployment. I mean, unemployment's at what, 3.2 or something like that.
Okay.
It's like everybody who wants a job, has a job, and so when that's the case, people can afford their rent.
Yeah.
They can afford to buy things.
Yeah.
So I
it's
don't
different.
see a downturn.
So
I really don't.
It feels very different to
It
you.
feels
from what
very
you've seen.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see a downturn. I've been expecting it for, the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And here it is,
Yeah.
And then you hear all these YouTubers, Alex tells me all the time, it's clickbait. That's clickbait. Yeah, it's like the world's falling apart,
Yeah.
It's
Makes you
like
click.
foreclosures are coming left and right, and
Yeah.
it's like, no,
Oh,
that's not the case.
there's so much just nonsense.
Yeah, that's not the case. It's not happening. I don't see it, at all.
That's helpful.
And
I like that.
back in 2008, I kind of, personally, I've kind of predicted that that's what was going to happen when you're giving people free loans. You know,
that was me. They were giving them to me.
See,
Yeah.
when you're giving people free loans,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
got to be a consequence at the end of the day. You know?
Absolutely. And the UK was buying a lot of that debt.
Oh yeah.
Buying a lot of those mortgages.
yeah.
So the knock on to, and probably other European countries, I don't know which ones, but was just very disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coffee
Coffee,
or
lunch.
lunch.
Lunch is
Lunch
better.
is preferred.
That's the big
yeah.
takeaway.
I like you did mention
Yes.
the 10K fee of coaching, something that stuck in my head as well.
No, I
That's for
didn't.
down the road.
I did.
Well, you're saying it doesn't cost that, but
No, it doesn't cost
but-
that. Yeah.
it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Package a nice little
No.
thing.
But I mean, 10% for the big guy. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people that I meet with, and Joe were like, "What do you get out of it?" And honestly, to be very honest, I like giving back to people.
Yeah.
I like educating people,
Yeah.
and that's what I get from it.
Yeah.
Just simple as that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't believe me, and they say, "Well, geez, I just paid $10,000 for this course." I go, just give me $10,000. If that makes you happy, then give me $10,000. But
I can
I'm
help you with
still
that.
waiting for that $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. People like yourself, Joe, that I've met and I've watched quite a few of them. The two traits I think are very interesting, like in a maturity of personality and experiences. I've listened to them say these two things. I think you're saying is there's enough to go around. There's enough deals for everyone.
Absolutely.
And secondly,
Yes.
you personally, nobody's perfect, but you know what you're doing, and you know how to generate deals, even if someone else grabs a deal close by that could have been yours.
Yeah.
You're competent and valuable and experienced enough to get on with it, which is a beautiful place for courage and like a humble, quiet strength to come
I have
from.
agents, I have people,
Love
I have
that.
investors tell me, well, why are you teaching me all this stuff?
Yeah.
And why are you doing this stuff? Because like I'd be your competition.
No.
You're not my competition.
No, I love that.
You're not even you're not even close.
I love
you
that.
know? Yeah, you may get a deal, but then that's it. That's all you're going to do. I'm doing 20, 30 deals, a year or more, depending on, the year.
Yep.
But yeah, you're nowhere close to be my competition.
I love that.
I don't want to brag, but
That was the best moment in this conversation.
Yeah. Black belt versus white belt. You're just like, meh.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Wow. So
Yeah.
and then we met actually at a sort of like a power hour thing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're now getting back into the residential space. You're looking to pick up some properties, buy and hold. And what's the reasoning behind that?
Well, land is great. it's good business, but there's more in my heart, with vision. I want to hold assets for the future. So my kids are, they're grown into their 20s. We're a big family.
How big?
7 kids.
Oh yeah. Wow. Love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you finally woke up and said, wow, the kids, I got to leave them a legacy. How did you take care of schooling all of them?
We've home educated.
Oh,
as
okay.
in my wife,
Okay.
who's the superstar in the family.
Okay.
We've lived in a couple of different cities and enjoyed travel, and we lived back in the UK for about 5 years, and then kind of just got out of there as quick as we could. It was during COVID that we were like, it's just horrible here. The restrictions, the shutdown, like everyone was
California.
miserable. Get me
I know
back
what
to
you're
the
talking about.
USA as quick as
Yeah.
possible. So that's when we made the move back here to California 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. So we've home educated and loved it. And the big piece of value we've loved from that is just having flexibility as a family. We just love to do stuff. So we'd go on vacation to like Greece when all the other kids are back in school, and
That's nice.
That's cool.
We'd
That's
love that.
very nice.
The other big value add is, from a family perspective, is we just really enjoy it. We thought we'd have one or two.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you do change as you grow older, and like we wanted, and then we had twins, and
Wow.
we loved kind of just noticing the personalities in our kids. So it's not like you can tell exactly kind of what their personality and giftings and kind of calling is or anything, but sometimes you can tell this is the sociable one, like this is the jokester in the family, this is the sales, but this one's like technically minded, this one's the end, this one's like everyone gets this kid to fix the Wi-Fi and then the technical stuff. And it's been super fun to put skills in their hands. So the two older boys that are working with me, we've just had a bunch of fun being entrepreneurial and doing life together. And so they went into the marketplace early, and they love it. They buy their own cars, they save their own money, they pay for their own flights.
They do?
Oh yeah.
Does that really work?
Yeah.
I'm still paying for my oldest son and his wife's cell phone. Yeah. And he's in his 40s. That actually works. You can kick him out of the house
You
and
need to
everything.
tell Joe some things.
Wow.
At lunch. You guys keep it to lunch.
Yeah. On me. Is that? Yeah. That's right.
Off topic, real quick. Have you been to Stonehenge?
Yeah.
Okay, so I loved it when I was there.
It was small, right?
It was small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't let us go in.
No.
Even though Obama was there like a week before me and they let him touch everything. It's like,
I don't know.
What's the difference here, It's
Who is even Obama?
Yeah.
Really.
It's like, wow.
Let me touch the rock.
What do you think? What's the story with that? Again, real quick.
I
Ancient aliens,
I really don't know. There's, I've heard all kinds of things during my British schooling and connected with the Druids, I think. I don't even know if I know anything about the Druids, but we have a house in Bath right by there. So
yes, I've been there.
we Airbnb. So we would drive by there from time to time, and having lived in the States and Texas especially, I kind of look and I think, how did the British have a small pile of upright rocks that are a tourist attraction with nothing? No restaurants, no coffee shops, no infrastructure. I don't think there's a parking lot there.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It's not monetized. Like, it's not.
No.
It's the British, like, slightly disappointing methodology. And it just has no
Well,
interest.
you just see land now and you just want to develop it.
Yeah, and I'll take the land, see if we can get us.
You're like,
Get a
you know how much I
neighborhood
can
built
get
there.
for this?
Yeah, for sure. I find it boring. I'm out here in the States. Me and my wife went up to see the redwoods. I'm like, that's a
See,
tree.
That's another thing. It's like people ask me, when are you going to retire, Joe? I don't think I'll ever retire. What I mean, boring to me is going to the beach, sitting there. Okay, 15 minutes later, it's like, okay, what do I do now?
Nothing.
There's nothing to do. It's like
Grab a board and hit the freaking waves, bro.
No. I'm doing this until I fall down, or hopefully Alex or Lauren will pick me up.
Oh, I'll catch you. I'm not letting you hit the ground. Are you kidding?
I'll hit the ground. Yeah. Do we have anybody online that has any questions?
This is one viewer, Liz, says hi.
Says hi.
All right, there we go.
Hi.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you for saying hi. I appreciate it.
Thanks for checking in.
No other questions.
Yeah. So what sort of deals are you looking for? How can people get in touch with you, and how can they do deals with you?
Yes, a couple of ways. Our bread and butter is land. So if there's any vacant land, and certainly if you've got some sort of relationship with the owner, they could have all kinds of difficulties going on that we would love to take a look at and see if we can solve that.
I think I have some.
You do?
Yeah.
That's right. Right now, or while we're live, or
I gotta look in the CRM. Yeah.
Let's take a look. So it's a numbers. From my standpoint, it's a numbers game. I've got to have enough conversations, and I end up, and we have we know the stats exactly how many phone calls, how many text messages have to happen to turn into a deal. So from my perspective, it's only a matter of a certain number of conversations. We're talking with someone that would love to sell their land. The second related way is kind of the same thing, but I am getting into subdividing. Now that can happen in such a variety of ways that legit helps people, helps the community. Again, from my standpoint, I want it to force appreciation. I want to increase the value of the same amount of dirt. I want the value to go up. So one way of doing that in states like Tennessee and is Georgia 10 acres as well? Well, whatever it is, but states like Tennessee, you can typically very easily get permission to subdivide based on the existing guidelines of 10 acres. So if you have anything like over 30 acres, you could potentially have 2 or 3 parcels of land there, sell them individually, and selling them individually, they command a higher price than they would as just a per acre price for the whole parcel. So and if it's more than 30 acres, all the better. 50 acres, 100 acres. So if you know that, now that can work out in a variety of interesting ways as well. We've seen people that wanted to sell their residence on acreage, and because it's on a large amount of acreage, it's typically the market for that is so small, and they want the price they want, and they're being a stickler, they're holding out, and the market and their sale price is not meeting. Yeah. So what my colleague Blake Arnold did, we didn't partner. It's his deal, but he said to them, look, how can I help you? Because I want the land. You want to sell your house. And there was a couple of options he gave them, but the way it worked out was that they, civil engineer divided up the land so that their house could sell for a somewhat lower amount with less land as a more normal sale, which opened it way up to the market, and they sold. It was a nicer house, so it was a kind of upper market. It was a musician, I think. And then Blake had the land, and he could sell it. And there was no house associated with it. It was, so. He could do it. He's gone to churches that often will have a big chunk of land. He'll talk with them, and a lot of churches have suffered a decline financially, COVID, everything. Just fewer people going to church, in a lot of cities, a lot of areas. So he'll ask them, well, how can I help you? What do you need? You need a parking lot. You need the church building. You want a little bit of green here. You want a half acre. You want a kid's playing ground. But these other 9 acres here that you're doing nothing with, that somebody put in their will for the church, or it's just, I don't know, it's been there forever. We can actually be a service to the community. We can define even, pathways, kids playgrounds, and this can be part of your parish. So he's done that a few times. So when you just start to think about repurposing land, there's just so much that can happen. There's we've just done a rezoning that just increased the value of the land. Same dirt, but a rezone, and it opens it up to it's now commercial guys know I don't even have to think about finding something that's residential, turning it into commercial. It's already commercial. And there's multiple steps there. You can go further there. You just make sure you get that perk test done. You can get permits from the county. Or go further to P-Plat. You can take it all the way to being shovel ready, and it's you're solving problems for builders that is an absolute nightmare for them. So how could people bring leads? Bring me some land, and we'll talk to the owner, and we'll talk to the county, and see how we can make an amazing deal for them. There's even a novation style agreement that can work as well. If you've got a land seller, and he's thinking, I don't just want to let this go and Dan to make a big giant profit. I get that. I understand, because we'll tell people what we're doing. We explain.
Absolutely.
I tell people, why don't I push back, because I need someone to partner with me for.
Yeah.
And I push back and I ask them, why don't you get a realtor yourself? And you'll pay their commission, and it'll be on the market for perhaps a few months, and often a year or so. And they will often tell me, I've had a terrible experience with realtors. I don't want it on the market for months. I want cash now. And in your contract, you said this will be 90 days. And sometimes we'll do 60 days, but 90 days gives me more breathing room. And so I'll push back. I'll tell them exactly what we're doing. But if someone wants a novation style agreement, and it's vacant land, we can subdivide, and they can have a percentage of the profit. So every time we're making money, they're making money. It's just they'll put our team to work to do it. It's a newer area for us, so I don't have 10 years of case studies to show how I've been subdividing land, but I have some great partners, and we're partnered with them, and we've got a consulting group, and they're helping on the funding side as well, and they've got a great reputation, some great case studies too. So I'll tell them exactly what we're doing, how we're doing, where we're very green, and what we're doing, but land is amazing.
Yeah.
You can do
and they're
so
not
many
making
things.
any more of it.
No. Well, if you subdivide,
Oh, true.
you're making
Yeah,
more.
Dan is making more.
Hey.
Elon's going to take me to Mars.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. And then we'll start
I'll be there.
subdividing Mars eventually at some point.
Okay.
Maybe the kids will. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who
but
knows?
not until after lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we put your Instagram handle and your email in the show notes. So you guys reach out to Dan if you have any land leads or land questions. And then you're also looking for sub-twos and rentals and all that stuff. So we'll get your buy box, around to everybody, and start filling up the pipeline so you can start taking out some deals.
Houston, Texas for the sub-2.
Houston?
I would like, yeah.
All right.
I'd like to do a bunch there,
Nice.
but for next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Love it.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Joe, you got anything else to add?
No, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
guys
thank
have
you.
a
It was a
Great
blast.
synergy, great business.
Yeah.
I'm booking on for lunch here. in
There
a
you
sec.
go.
Nice.
Boom. Joe's
I got
happy about
another
that.
lunch taken care of. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Please share with your new and experienced investor friends, and we'll see you on the next one.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.